Welcome to the Healthy Habit Hotseat, where we chat to extraordinary humans and world-leading health experts to dive deep into the intricacies of the daily habits that have shaped their success. Remember, success leaves clues, right? I'm your host and resident healthy habit coach, Loz Antonenko, and I cannot wait to help you re-energize your life so you too can create opportunity, vitality, and abundance to become the master of your own incredible healthy destiny. Now, let's get into today's conversation. Welcome to the Healthy Habit Hot Seat. It is so great to finally be able to chat to you, the amazing and insatiable Carly Meyers. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so good. So it's 8:15 here in the morning. I'm feeling fresh. I've done my miracle morning, done my affirmations, my gratitude, my meditation. I'm feeling fresh, babe. I'm excited.
And we are having a conversation from the opposite sides of the world pretty much right now. So super fresh. You are super energized and I am like ready to wind myself down into my evening routine.
But you're high energy. You're like low energy though, is most people's high energy. So I feel like you're okay.
I think we might actually be talking the same language though, I'm pretty sure. So Carly, imagine we're queuing for lunch at a networking event and we've only got 30 seconds before we're about to part ways. What would be your most important message for our listeners?
Okay, so basically everything that I'm about is empowering people to have the courage to set audacious goals for themselves. One of the biggest things I feel like is so many people are going through life having no idea what they can actually achieve, and they're stuck in all this rubbish mind talk. So basically everything I'm about is kind of just pouring belief into people and realizing that you can live your life exactly as you wish, every single element of it, if you have the courage and the grit to go for it.
And those things have to go hand in hand, because if you're going to live a bold and beautiful and extraordinary life, courage and fearlessness are the two key elements. I love it. Thank you so much. I would like to just say, as a top level online marketing extraordinaire, that's how I'm going to coin you.
Well,
You're a businesswoman. I know. I was like, how many descriptive words can I fit into a sentence? You're a businesswoman and a freedom enthusiast. And you have a mission to empower as many people as possible to tap into their soul purpose. And that's sort of what you just sort of suggested in what our listeners could hear about you. What's your favorite part about being a businesswoman?
Oh, I mean, I hated working with someone else. I really do have an issue with someone telling me what to do. I've always had a problem with that. Like when I'm hungry, I want to eat. I don't want to wait an hour until I can go on a lunch break. Like that's, I want to go now. But yeah, the main thing is just like the growth journey that you go on in building a business and seeing yourself just completely transform in the process. And I've grown to really love the hard times. I've really grown to love the times where I'm like, whew, I'm learning a lot right now. This is tough. But, I love it because I know that at the other side of it, I'm going to become just an even better version of myself. So yeah, I'd say like the personal growth journey of being a business owner, of course, the freedom of it. Like I've got a little boy now, he's 10 months old, and I just love that I can choose exactly how I want to spend that time with him. I mean, I put him in a childminder today, though, I'm not going to lie. One day a week. I'm all for the freedom apart from the one day a week, and then I can just have a little bit of me time. But yeah, no, definitely all about the personal growth and the learning, and just a little nerd. I love learning all about all areas of business.
And I think as an entrepreneur, you kind of have to be a bit of a geek. Like you've just got to love learning and really value spending time going deep into things and just letting it take you where it can. So
totally.
Before you moved into business though, you sustained a successful career as a professional dancer, and you've performed shows not only at London's West End, but literally all around the world. But then you injured yourself during a dance audition, tearing all of the ligaments in your ankle. What was the catalyst to shift your life direction from performer to network marketer?
Well, I knew about network marketing anyway. I'd already started the business, but I was just fannying around with it, kind of like, just like trying to throw my products in people's faces, really doing it as like a bit of an amateur. And I was doing it for a bit of extra something on the side. And then I'd had a little time out, and then I decided that I was going to go back into dancing, really kind of like give it my all and go for it. And then just give everything to it basically. And then my first audition back, 15 minutes in, I got injured, and then whisked off in an ambulance. And I so believed in everything happening for a reason anyway. My dad called me and he was like, I think it's a sign that you need to focus on your business. And it totally was. And so yeah, that was the main catalyst really. Like I've always trusted that I'm being guided to greatness, and that everything that I do is happening for a reason. And I just took that moment as like, okay, this is a sign to go for it. So I fully threw myself into it. And then I just became a professional network marketer. Whereas before I was literally just a poser, and I'd post a few things on Instagram and be like, do you want to buy this? Or just copy and paste other people's stuff. And then I just became a professional. I learned about the industry. I really studied how to do it properly. I really committed to growing myself, to being who I needed to be. And yeah, but that all came from the injury. So it's the best thing that ever happened. And people was, whenever I say that I got injured and my career was over, people always kind of like give me this sad emoji face, and I'm like, no, it's a good thing. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. So yeah, that was kind of it really.
Basically turning your adversity into your greatest advantage, which I find, having chats to people like yourself, it's struggles that help us realize what we're actually capable of. And we think we're on this path or this direction. All of a sudden life's like, actually, this is where you're going. So moving through uncertainty is obviously something you've continued to refine over the course of your entire life. Having worked your way to the top of your networking company in less than 6 years, balance the balance between business and motherhood really. So balance as a concept is just so important. So now that little Frankie is, what did you say, 10 months old now?
Mm-hmm.
What's been a recent professional highlight for you over the past 12 months since actually becoming a mum? And how has balance worked for you? How have you had that struggle?
My biggest kind of highlight came, it was actually on New Year's Eve. So I actually promoted to the top level on my company on New Year's Eve. Notoriously, it's a bad month in business. People kind of like take the month off and they're out and they're just having a lovely Christmas. But in our company, when you get to the top level, in January, they fly you to Maui. So you and your family, they fly you to Hawaii and you have this incredible trip. So I knew that I had to promote by the 31st of December in order to be flying out to Maui on the 5th of January. I told my partner that we were going. I've told him for years that we were going, and I never hit that goal. And I knew that I wanted to take my little boy, Frankie, swimming in Hawaii for the first time. And we were miles away from our goal. He was 12 weeks old. He was 12 weeks old at this point.
Wow.
Motherhood was fresh. My body was not fresh. There was all sorts of emotions and stuff going on. But I just set a goal. I knew as soon as I fell pregnant, I knew that I was gonna, that was gonna happen. And yeah, it was a crazy, crazy time. I can't say that any of that time was balanced, to be honest, because I don't really believe that when you're going for a massive goal, there is any balance. And I think this is where people tend to go a little bit wrong. They have these huge goals and there's so much stuff that they want to achieve, but they're still trying to have this wonderful, chilled family life. And for a short period of time, you can't do that. For a short period of time, it just needs to get a little bit cray-cray for a while. And so, yeah, so it was cray-cray. But then now I found a beautiful balance now, and it is just, I put him down for a nap. It's like Crystal Maze, like the timer goes off. I have to do everything in like an hour. It's like a crazy thing. And then the buzzer goes off, which is his monitor. And then I'm like, okay, and we're back to the baby time. But it's good. I like it. I'm so much better when I'm busier anyway. When I first quit my job, I left my job like 2 years after starting my business. And I thought it was going to be amazing. I was like, I'm going to get so much stuff done. Oh my God, I was just the worst. Too much time is not good. Too much time in your hands. You have way too much time to think. And just sending an email took me like 7 hours. I was like, oh God. So yeah, it's actually been a lot better for me, being a mum and working. And now like a huge thing about, what I'm about is I want mums to become more than mum. You know what I mean? I don't want mum to like give up on their dreams just because they've got a baby. And I definitely did get some people, saying little comments and, God, you're so busy. He's only 12 weeks old and, you're driving around all over the place and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I just want to show him what hard work looks like. I want to show him how you get what you want to get, you know? And so, yeah, I'm so pro the working mum.
Yeah, good on you. And I think that you brought up a really valid point, is that, and especially in the spirit of entrepreneurship, people have this idolized view of being in Bali and working on your laptop. And, you know, yes, okay, that can be a real part of what that looks like, but also like you wear multiple hats.
Mm-hmm.
Like how boring is life when you wear one hat? I mean, I have like a whole hat room in my house, like literally.
I think I've seen you with some kind of like native Indian hat.
Several times. Yeah. I've got, you know, and, you know, using that as a metaphor for life, it's like we all wear different hats, and it's about finding balance. And I think your point about, you know, there are times when there is literally no balance because you are all in.
Mm-hmm.
You are all in.
Definitely, like for the first, well, I mean, I'd probably say that 6 years into my business now is probably the first time that I'm finding some balance. There's been periods of like, you know, lower times, but I think the way I see it is that I'm cramming 40 years worth of work into a really short period of time, and you just need to get your head down and get it done, you know? And I think, like I said, that's where people are going wrong. They're kind of looking for the Instagram entrepreneur lifestyle 4 months into their business.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work like that.
Well, it's not real. But you live and breathe your purpose pretty much every single day. And I think by empowering people to live sustainable, healthy lifestyles is helping them create a life of freedom. And you are obviously doing that yourself. What are the attributes of the people that you surround yourself with in your closest circle of influence? Who are those people?
Oh, they're all very fun. Like, I'm so attracted to fun. I think that's why I'm so attracted to you. I saw you with your red Indian hat on, and I was like, she's my girl. But yeah, they're all really fun. They're all really positive. Like, I'm really aware of people's language. And I don't think a lot of people are aware of their language, but, you know, just the way that they speak in everyday life about what's going on in their own life. I'm kind of like, I feel like I've got an electric fence around me. And whenever there's someone that says stuff like negative or moany or like, I'm just like, ah, and then I literally just shuffle away. Because I'm just not into negative chat. I'm not really into moaning, because I'm so like, if you have a problem, do something about it. Don't just moan about it. You can moan about it once, but we're not going to have this conversation again unless you're telling me what you're doing about it. You know, like, it's probably a bit harsh, but so everyone in my circle is so driven. They've got massive goals. Like, there's no one that could say a goal or something that they're striving for in my circle of friends and anyone would laugh at it. You know, there's no one that would be like, yeah, right. And I feel like if ever that is in your circle of friends, it's time to change your circle of friends, because you should never be embarrassed about your goals. You should never, ever diminish your goals and make them smaller to make other people feel more comfortable. And I've done 100%. That for years and years and years. You know, I really downplayed what I wanted to create, and now I just don't care. People honestly do think I've lost the plot, but I don't really care. So everyone in my circle is just the same as me. And I think that's the beauty of when you're in a network marketing business and you're looking for like-minded people, you just end up with your whole network exactly like you. But yeah, that's kind of how everyone is around me, really. I'm always very aware of people around me, and anyone that texts me with those god-awful emojis, you know, like the crying face that's like, oh, or like the crying or the distressed, you know, when they're literally like, oh, I just lost my keys, distressed. And I'm like, are you that distressed about your keys? So yeah, anyone who gives me any kind of negative emoji, they're out.
I did a thing on Facebook actually a couple of weeks ago where I got people to post the last 5 emojis that they use. And it's so fascinating to watch, because you see them on Facebook as a person and the way that they articulate their challenges. And it's literally like personified as emojis. It was great. And there were so many people that are, you know, out there having those conversations and sort of being the toxic person, you know, really addicted to their problems, and you look at their emojis and they're literally like all of those ones that you just described. It's like, this is why you're stuck, because you keep using this language.
Yeah, it totally is. And people really don't have any idea. And I think self-awareness of the way you speak is amazing. Not only the way that you speak out loud, but also the way that you speak to yourself.
Yeah.
And, you know, I really like, I genuinely feel like I have a person in my head now that I can hear. I really tuned into like my subconscious thoughts. And the other day I was saying something, I said something about like money or something like that. And I heard the thought and I was like, oh my God. And, you know, once you really tune in to the craziness that you say in your head sometimes, it's really, really powerful. But yeah, exactly. You know, all kind of language is so powerful.
And language is super powerful. And I think that's a beautiful segue into the next question. Your success as a dancer, you sort of described to me in a previous chat that performing in the final Monty Python tour at London's O2 Arena was, you know, is streamed around the world. You know, how did that make you feel? Like, let's use language here. Like, how did that make you feel to be part of such a momentous event? Because you are this aspiring entrepreneur who didn't quite know it yet, and you're caught up in this spectacle. Like, what were the emotions that were going on for you at that time?
It was a crazy time. Obviously, you've got like however many thousands of people in that arena, and the energy of that arena going crazy for the Monty Python guys is just insane. And my family were there, and I just felt so proud. But I also knew that it was coming to the end of my career, so there was like a real kind of like special moment there. But the weirdest thing actually about that time was that night I was doing that. I was at the highlight of my career. The next day, that job was over, and I was due to be waitressing in a pub in Basingstoke, because that's what life is as a performer. So, you know, you're doing these incredible shows, but you don't really get paid enough to then be taking weeks off. So the next day, you just have to get whatever job you can. You know, like I was always waitressing. There were times where, you know, I wanted to save up to get my car, that I was doing a show at the London Palladium in the evening, and then in the daytime I was waitressing all day because I had to, you know, save some more money. And yeah, so it was a really crazy time, because it was a real turning point in knowing that this career for me was not sustainable. And the highs and the lows are so drastic that I had to do something different, because this up and down lifestyle was just not the one. So yeah, it was an amazing moment, and I always remember that moment a lot. I look at it so fondly. I actually look at it way more fondly now, and I'm more proud of it now than at the time, because I think whenever you're in a place of striving for more and wanting to achieve a lot, whatever, you so often don't even recognize where you're at, and you never, you know, tap yourself in the back and say, wow, look what you've achieved, because there's always that next thing that you want to achieve. And when I look back at my dance career now, you know, my career was amazing, and it's all I ever wanted as a kid. But at the time, I felt so unsatisfied with all the stuff that I hadn't achieved yet. And looking back at it now, it's really taught me that you have to recognize the small successes, because you never ever feel like you've achieved anything otherwise. And actually you end up not even feeling the way that you should feel when you're at the height of your career. You still feel like, meh, it's okay.
And there's more. You keep trying to push for more,
Totally. And I think it's just, it's about celebrating the little moments, I think. And I wish I had done that more in my
Do you think you do that now? So as a mum, you know, if we look at your achievements as a mum, what would be the highlight of being a mum so far in your parenting journey?
I think just that I have managed to stay myself and keep my identity, as well as being a good mum. Like, I am a full-on mum, you know, like I love him to bits. I am so needy. I'm like, give me a kiss, give me a kiss, give me a kiss. He's probably like, for God's sake, let me go. And I'm really proud of how I've adapted to being a mum, but I'm also really proud of the fact that I've stayed myself, and I've still kept with my dreams, and I've kept with my drive. And I'm really proud of, I think, the example that I'm setting to him, and I hope the example that I'm setting to other mums as well, and to keep kind of striving for what they deserve, really.
Beautiful. And do you think that that mindset shift that you had when you were just describing that momentous event and that emotional outpouring that you were feeling inside when you were doing the Monty Python gig, and you look at that now and translate it into motherhood, into business, do you think you've really worked out how to live in the moment?
I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Because I still have crazy dreams and ambitions. So there is always times where I'm thinking, I think whenever you're an entrepreneur or business owner, you're always, you never really switch off, do you? You're always like, oh, I need to do that, and I want to do that, and I should be doing this. And you kind of go to bed each day thinking there probably is more that you could have done. And because I can't work at the pace that I used to when I didn't have a baby, sometimes I do battle with that a little bit. But yeah, I'm definitely trying more to be present. I mean, it's great now that like his naps are a certain time, and then when he's awake, there is no work. I can't hold my phone because he literally loses his mind. He'd be like, I want the phone. And so I definitely have learned to be more present, but it's a work in progress. I'm not, I mean, I would love to know any entrepreneur that has figured that out. Have you figured that out?
Well, I don't have kids.
No, I know, but just being present in the moment and like.
Oh, I can totally relate to what you're saying, and I'm inherently guilty of those same struggles. Like I have success lists. I don't call them to-do lists. I have success lists, and like they will get crossed off over the course of a week. And if I say I'm going to do something on Monday, majority of the time it doesn't get done till the Sunday after. But it's about work in progress. But I see exactly what you're talking about because, we all experience that. I think for me, meditation has been a way to bring myself into where I am now and bringing myself into a moment and actually interacting and channeling what is okay right now, because it allows me not to think about the past or the future. It's just literally me right now. But we're going to talk about that more in the next episode with you. Just to wrap up this amazing conversation that we're having, we talked about wearing lots of hats, which is something that you do every single day because you're serving others through your passion for health and fitness, but also, looking after your family and looking after yourself. To conclude, what is your top tip to living a fulfilling and purposeful life? That's a massive question.
Ooh. My top tip. I think it's learning to love yourself as you are. I really truly believe that the happiest times in my life have been where I felt I'm being 100% authentic to myself. When you're laughing with friends or like you're laughing with your loved ones and it's the most ridiculous humor that no one would get. You've not even thought about what you're going to say before you say it. And you're just being 100% yourself. I think that's the most incredible place to get to. And I think that's why I believe everyone needs to kind of get on this personal growth journey to get into a place where you're just so accepting of yourself. And it breaks my heart sometimes when I see some people so uncomfortable in their own skin. And I just wish you knew how amazing you were and beautiful you are. And, I see people struggling with their own image and everything like that. And I just think, I wish you could wake up in the morning so proud of yourself, loving yourself, and you'd feel so much freer. And I do believe that it's up to us to do that work. And I think what happens a lot is people rely on other people to make themselves feel a certain way about themselves. And it's not up to anyone else to make you feel a certain way about yourself. If you don't love yourself, that's an internal job there. You need to figure that out yourself. You cannot rely on a guy or a girl to make you feel a certain way. And certain things that have happened in my life have really taught me that as well. And it's up to you to build your own self-belief, your own self-worth, and your own self-love. But it is the most important mission, I think.
What a beautiful way to wrap up our conversation.
Yay.
Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of the Healthy Habit Hot Seat, Carly Meyers. Tune in for the next episode of the Healthy Habit Hot Seat, where we're going to start diving deeper into Carly's daily habits. Thanks so much, love. Looking forward to chatting to you again really soon.
Yay! Thank you so much. I've loved it.
Thanks so much for joining us this week on the Healthy Habit Hot Seat. Make sure to visit lozlife.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, so you'll never miss an episode. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, I'd be stoked with a 5-star rating on iTunes. Better still, tell a friend and share the love. If you loved this episode, you might want to check out my book, The Healthy Habit Handbook, available in softcover, ebook, and audio form on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Balboa Press, and all good bookstores. Be sure to tune in for our next episode for your fortnightly dose of inspiration from some of the world's most successful and healthy lifestyle masters. Remember, stay inspired. I'm Loz Antonenko, and ciao for now.